I try to preserve my memories from living in my country in Palestine because I worry a lot about forgetting my life in Palestine, especially that I've been away from my home for 19 years now. So this is my way of preserving and making sure I can pass on my experiences to my two daughters. And if I don't put it down on paper, I'll go crazy because all I can think about is Palestine. So I'm going to read a story I wrote. It's a short story. The title is by Taboun, and it's about my experience when I was a child in Palestine. My Taboun. I'm asleep in Sitti's house in Palestine. My grandmother's house has 2 rooms, a kitchen, and a bathroom. Sitti's house is in my village, Al-Tira. My 4 sisters, brother, and I all sleep on the floor in the living room. Sitti whispers my name in my ear. I hear her from a distance. Nadia, Nadia, Nadia. She whispers and shakes my shoulder. It's time. I moan. She leaves the room. My eyes resist. I squeeze one eye open and look around me. Everyone sleeps. I squint at the only window in the room, an arched window with a wooden frame. I lie beneath it. It's black outside. Why did Sitti wake me up in the middle of the night? I go back to sleep. The adhan, the call for prayer, cleaves the silence of the room. Who's calling me for prayer at this time of the night? I'm only 10 years old. God's a nice fella. He won't punish me if I don't pray the morning prayer this time. He knows how valuable sleep is to me. Besides, I prayed yesterday. Let me sleep, please. Allahu Akbar. The mu'adhin continues to recite the adhan from the mosque in my village. He's calling all Muslims for prayer. I open my eyes again. Suddenly I feel excited. She promised me she would wake me up at dawn. I jump out of my mat. I hope she hasn't left. I hope she's still here. I cautiously open the front door. I don't want to wake any of my siblings. I don't want to share this moment with anyone, especially not my 16-year-old sister Suhad. Suhad always steals the spotlight, and she works as an undercover agent for my mom. I step outside. I'm in my grandmother's central courtyard. I look around. I can't see Sitti. I can't see anything in the dark. Could she have gone without me? A rock sits on my chest. I don't want to cry. Think, Nadia, where could she be now? She said we would bake bread in the morning. I sneak towards the one small room with the white metal door. Uncle Yasser's room. He doesn't live here anymore. He lives in America with my father. Aunt Yusra and Aunt Mufida sleep in that room. It has a bed with a hard mattress. I'll be extra careful not to wake them. I try the door. It's locked. My last chance is the smallest room with an olive green wooden door. We use it to store olives, olive oil, rice, wheat, and flour. My feet creep to the storage room. I want to be prepared for the critters hiding in the vegetable gardens on both sides of the courtyard. I can hear chirps, but I cannot see anything. I reach the green door. The door is cracked open. Sitti's still here. I carefully open the door. Sitti sits cross-legged on the floor. She's in her traditional Palestinian dress, the though. It's a long black dress with red embroidery on each side and on the chest. Her head veil hangs loose down her back. A large bowl of bread dough sits in front of her. Her veil is tucked behind her ears so that it won't get caught in the dough. Sitti knows I'm watching but doesn't look up at me. She divides the dough into medium-sized balls. She places the balls on a large round metal tray and sprinkles them with flour. Sitti, pass me that cloth over there. She points at the old white dresser. I give her the cloth. She covers the dough balls with the cloth and places another tray over the dough tray. Sitti gets up. First, she puts a round cloth on her head. Then she places the round tray on top of the cloth. She carries a stick in one hand and a bag in the other. She leaves the room. I follow her. I look at the big white mulberry tree standing tall on my side. When I come back from baking with Sitti, I'll pick some mulberries. I love the sweetness of our tree's mulberry. Sitti and I stroll in the mist of dawn. I smell the wild thyme sprung out of Sitti's terrace. It overshadows the scent of the trespassing rosemary. We silently roam through the sleepy streets of the village. We reach Sitti's Taboun. Light slowly sneaks up on darkness. I smell the sheep and goat manure. One goat bleats from behind the walls of the room adjacent to the Taboun. Sitti pushes open the brown rickety wooden door. She and I walk in the herd room. A goat's lazy eyes stare at me. I picture it striking me with its horns. I shake my head and run after Sitti to the Taboun. Ah, the Taboun. The Taboun is an earth oven. The Taboun is a hole in the ground. Its inside is covered with pebbles. These pebbles keep the Taboun's inside hot. The smell of charcoal fills the Taboun room. The room is made out of clay. It's the only place where it's acceptable for an adult to be covered in ash and flour. Sitti takes the large tray of dough balls off her head and places it on the ground beside the Taboun. She crouches down and uncovers the dough. Then she presses the dough down with her fingers to make the balls flat. She taps a ball with her fingertips until it's imperfectly rounded. The Taboun's lid has a small metal handle. Sitti takes a stick and puts it inside the handle to take the lid off the Taboun. Sitti takes one circle of dough and passes it from one hand to the other to make it thinner. She gently covers the pebbles inside the Taboun with the thin, round dough. Her hands dance with the dough so softly. She makes it look as if anyone can bake in a Taboun. I peek inside the Taboun. The dough slowly rises. Random bubbles start to form. Some of the bubbles pop and turn dark brown. The bread's aroma bursts. I wait impatiently for Sitti to take the bread out. She uses the same stick to tilt the bread up and studies the bottom of the bread. Then she takes it out, using the stick in her hand. She tosses the bread on a tray covered with a cloth. I can already taste the bread. Sitti, can I have some? I look at my grandmother. Yes, Sitti, but it's still hot, she says. I reach for the bubbly bread. It's hot. I wait. I touch the bread again. It's cooled down. A pebble drops from the bread as I tear a piece off. It's soft and chewy. My mouth blasts in a smoky celebration. Text break. My 33-year-old self sits at her computer. I'm in my apartment living room in Toronto. I go online to Google the word Taboun. A number of results show up. The first link is titled Taboun Restaurant, Hell's Kitchen, New York. Wow, that's great. There's a famous Palestinian restaurant in New York. I go to the restaurant's about page. The first paragraph mentions the founders of Taboun restaurant, Dani and Ayala Hudak, and Gadi and Sheila Ruham. It mentions the Middle East, but there's no sign of Palestine. I read the names again. Dani and Ayala Hudak, those names do not sound Arabic. I look up Dani Hudak online. Dani Hudak is Israeli. The smell of morning earth and freshly picked olives suddenly fills me. You may steal my land, you may use my Taboun, but you cannot erase me.